Okay, so if you finish the first wee video activity, you've learned all sorts of things, how to upload media like photographs, how to drag things down onto the timeline, how to add text, static text. In other words, make these titles here, and even the rolling credits work with that Ken Burns effect, and fading in music and fading out music and adding fades to the images and all sorts of things. So actually quite a few skills you've already learned. But at this point you might be going, Mr. Pat, it's called We Video, not We Still Picture. In other words, why aren't the images we're putting in our video moving? Okay, well, that's a good question. First of all, in my media, of course, we have all the things we've uploaded, but there's a thing over here in the corner called stock media. In other words, We Video has gone to the trouble of finding all sorts of clips of things, short video clips, anywhere from 10 to, say 15, 17 seconds. Looks like this is 31 seconds. And yeah, basically anything you put in here, I'm just put up, me, I like puppies. And you've got videos of puppies playing. Beautiful white puppy dog, 27 seconds, 7 seconds, 11 seconds. Okay? So if you wanted to make a quick, short video about puppies, you might grab a thing like this and put it down here. And if I hit play, you can see the puppies moving up here and the mama dog and the little baby dogs. Isn't that all adorable? Okay? So for 11 seconds, it's going to play that. All right. So pretty much anything in the world you can imagine. I'm going to say beach. Oh, look at that. Here we go. The only thing more relaxing than watching puppies is watching the ocean. Nice. And of course, just like the other images, I can trim the length here. This is 18 seconds, it looks like. I can make it shorter and have it, be whatever I need it to be. All right. Also, we already know how to do the opacity or opacity. I think it's opacity. Have my little fade in marks. I can either type them in the box over here, or I can do it down here with the lines. Maybe I'll do that with the doggy here. Have her fade in and fade out. Move that over a little bit. So this is not too different from what you did with the still images, but here we are with moving images in our video. And we didn't even have to record anything with our camera. And once again, just about darn near anything you can imagine, if you type in the subject, the search box up here, you type it in, and I bet We Video has something that would be appropriate for it. Really nice if you're doing a project for school and you're doing it on, let's say, global warming. Holy cow. Here, I'm going to delete some of these guys. This is even better. This is like more school relevant. Okay, so industrial background of factories. There we go. Ooh, evil factories. Look at that. Those are actually nuclear cooling towers, it looks like. Maybe I've got better factories here. Wow, look at all of these. We got glaciers. We've got flooding. We've got things like this. I guess that's a still image. Yeah, we'll get rid of that. But I think you get the idea, okay? Here's some stormy seas battling it out. There we go, okay? So anyway, I'm getting distracted here, but you get the idea. You can pick whatever image you want from the stock media up here. And I want you to put 2 different video clips in here. Probably nothing more than 30 seconds. Of course, you can always trim these things if you want. So anyway, now let's talk about titles. All right, so I added another image here, a quick video of a factory. It was a little better. The other one was only 5 seconds long. This one's 12 seconds long, and you can see these ugly smokestacks pouring pollution into our environment. And of course, we know that that can cause changes in our climate, which then can result in, oh my goodness, high seas, hurricanes, disasters, flooding, all that good stuff, or bad stuff, I guess it is, that we know is related to the change in our climate. This video here is a little long, so what I'm thinking is I might grab the end here, and I get those double arrows, and I can bring it back. So the whole thing's about 25 seconds, because I want to put a title in. And before, over here under text, I know we were using the static titles, and I showed you how to use that Ken Burns effect, but there's a whole variety of motion titles. And these are a little more interesting. Here, bada boom, I can't resist. I'm going to pull this down here, put it on the same line. It's going to say insert and push. In other words, move all the other stuff over to the right. And it does. And let's watch my bada bing title. Bada boom. I'm sorry. Bada boom. So that is what it will look like if I double click on it. And for some reason, it went into the settings. Over here, you see there's like a little speech bubble. Click on that, and instead of bada, I would say climate change is real by Mr. Pat, or whatever your name is. And when I save those changes, watch what happens. I'll start from the beginning. And that has a little more impact than the non-moving or static titles. Now, there's a million of these guys here, and if you just click on them, here, I'll stop my video. Look, if I just hit, it says say it with shapes. That's this one here. If I click over here, remember I'm over here now. It gives you an example. And of course, you would change primary text and secondary text into what you prefer. Share your thoughts and make an impact. I actually kind of like that one. Maybe I'll get rid of this title and move that one down here and change that. Climate change is real. Oops, gotta spell real right. And make an impact. Anyway, I'm not going to spell out all that. You don't need to watch that. But here we go. Oh, come on, move that right over a little bit. And starting from the beginning, climate change is real and make an impact. Okay, so there's my title. There's my smokestack. It fades in. It'll fade out. The waves will fade in and fade out. And maybe I should put some sort of an ending too. I don't know if we have any good ending titles here, but we could just have something as a primary text. Thanks for watching. Secondary text. Be kind to the earth. And if I do that, watch. There's the end of my rolling waves. And there is obviously a moving title. So take a moment and add motion titles. So up here under text, you click there. The first one it goes to is motion. And there's a whole bunch of them. Don't spend too much time checking out every single one, but grab one that looks interesting. See a little preview of it. Oh yeah, that's pretty neat, huh? And pick a few, one for the beginning and one for the end. Okay? And then we're going to talk about a few more things we can do. Okay, so now we've got our motion titles. And then it fades into my images there. But in between blocks on my timeline, down here and down here, you can see there's a little space there. If I go up here to where it says transitions, I can grab some of these guys, and here's one that looks like curtains. And if I put that in between, oh, it doesn't like it. No, let's see if I can put it in between here. There we go. So watch in between these two images. That was kind of cool. Wonder if it'll let me put one in near the end. Let's grab one of these crazy rainbow staircase things here. Lets me put it there. So at the end of this, it gives me that little effect. So these are called transitions. I'm not sure quite why it's not letting me do it over here. Sometimes you gotta play around with it a couple of times. Here's one that I like. No, it's not liking it, huh? Sometimes it's a stinker. And maybe it has more to do with this, or maybe the type of title it is. But I bet on most of these, you could squeeze something in between there. Usually you want these guys to be close right up to each other. And let's go insert and push and see if I can get that in there now. No, it's not liking it. Okay, so you may not be able to get a transition in between every piece. In fact, it might not work for you in some cases. But I bet in one or more cases, you should be able to get that to work. So here, let's watch my video from the beginning. Here's my motion title. Come on, video. There it is. No transition. Although this part faded in over here. Those smokestacks, they're going to fade out. And even if I didn't fade this particular image out, the curtain would still open and close there in between. So you can experiment with that. Sometimes instead of having a transition, you just use a fade out. But it's kind of cool. Adds a little pop to your thing there, that little rainbow thing. So play around with transitions, see if you can get one or two. Again, they have to happen between something, so don't expect to be able to put one at the beginning or end of your video. And if it doesn't fit between certain ones, at least for now, I don't have an answer for you why that works sometimes and doesn't work. But give it a try. See if you can make it work, and if you can't, don't stress out. All right? All right, so I've got my moving titles. I've got my moving media, video media. I've got my transitions in here, so I've got a lot more moving and going on around here. And of course, we have titles at the beginning and titles at the end. But what if I wanted to have some words somewhere in the middle of one of these, like over the waves or over the smokestack, what we call a caption. In other words, you'll see text while that video is playing. Once again, I'll come to my text up here, my text area, and I'll click on that. And I think I'm just going to use static for now. We all know this sample text box here works pretty good. And I'm just going to put it on the line above the video clip. And here, I'll back up a little bit on my timeline. There's the curtain's going to close and open. Boom, there it says sample text, okay? So two things I know right away from my last lesson is I might have to click here to get to my fade in and fade out buttons. I can do that instead of having it come in all at once. And if I double click on it, I can change it from sample text to Hurricane Ida or whatever that was. And I save the changes, bring it back here, and watch. Sometimes we call this an overlay caption because it's over the video. It's like on top of it or in front of it. And also, if you look at your timeline over here, it is over. It's on the line over here, video 2. Video 1 is where most of our stuff goes. Video 2 is where our captions will go. So I can do the same thing over here. I can say something like, that smoke is nasty. And I can change the color of it, as you well know. And I can change the size of it, and I can, do all sorts of different things. But this would be what we call overlay captioning. I can move the box around so that it's not right in front of the smokestacks. Save my changes. Maybe go ahead and have it fade in and out. This is a real quick and easy way to fade in and out. And it's just a 3-dot fade out instead of a 4-dot fade out. Over here, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 dots. Up here, I've just got the 3. It fades in, it peaks out in the middle, and then it goes away. So let's watch this from the beginning. No transition at first. That smoke is nasty. And then it'll fade out, both the video and the words. There's my curtain. There's some awful big waves. Hurricane Ida, that fades in all the way. I didn't really change the size or the color there. And then one more transition. And thanks for watching. Be kind. And this whole thing, what am I up to? Like maybe 35 seconds. Okay. So go ahead and play with that. You should have motion titles, transitions, video media down here, whatever your choice of topics is, and at least 2 captions over the top of, or caption over each one of your video clips. And keep it, I would say, definitely under 40 seconds. Okay, we don't want this thing to be too long. All right, good luck. Now, another thing you may want to do with this video is to talk over it. In other words, become a narrator. So to narrate a video, if you look up here by the import and record button, and here there's a button called narrate. So when I click on that, I got to allow it to use my microphone. Get close to the mic and click record. It counts you down a little bit here. For my project on climate change for Mrs. Fuchs' science class, I wanted to point out that smoke and carbon going into our atmosphere can warm up the environment and cause rising seas and cause more extreme weather, so that when there's hurricanes, those waves will come and wipe out low-lying areas. Thanks for watching. Now you can see down here, there's a thing that says record again. Maybe I started laughing or I just goofed up or whatever. I can have a do-over, but I think I did a pretty good job there. So I'm just going to click save. Excuse me. And if we look down a little further, I might have to move this scroller bar here. Underneath audio is going to be my voiceover. So here, I'm going to make this a little smaller. Come on, you stinker. There we go. I'll make this a little smaller, but you can see these little squiggly guys here. All right, so let's hit play. For my project on climate change for Mrs. Fuchs' science class, I wanted to point out that smoke and carbon going into our atmosphere. All right, so it worked. Okay, so play around a little bit with narration. Again, the narrate button is up here. If you mess up, you can always delete it or do over, and it should show up right below this audio line. You may have to move with this scroller bar over here in the bottom right corner to be able to see it properly. Okay, give it a try. So I just shared about 5 new skills with you: how to use the stock media motion clips, how to use motion titles, how to put overlay captions on, how to do a voiceover or a narration. But let's not forget the skills I taught you in the last video. And the one that's standing out the most to me that's missing here is, you guessed it, music at the beginning and end. So I can still grab my music. Now, one thing I can do here, and I'll zoom in just a little bit, make these tracks a little bit bigger. I obviously don't need it much longer than this. So if I move it down to the end of my end title and cut, I can then just delete this extra part. But rather than having 2 separate audio tracks, here's what I can do. In fact, I'm going to make this line a little bigger so you can see. Remember our fade in and fade out markers, the dots there. If I make a dot like here and fade out, when I put the line down at the bottom like this, it's going to be super quiet. Okay? And here, I'll put it maybe a, come on, dot. Why aren't you letting me, stupid thing? Maybe you'll let me do it now. Oh, come on, there we go. So there's my fade in line. There, it's going to be hot for a while. It's going to fade out. Stays so quiet you can't even hear it along the bottom, and then it'll fade back up. There we go, and then maybe fade out at the end. So you see how there's kind of like a little spike here, a little triangle, and here there's sort of like a little trapezoid. Let's watch and listen to the music. There, it's faded in full volume. It's going to fade out. My narration starts. For my project on climate change for Mrs. Fuchs' science class, I wanted to point out that smoke and carbon going into our atmosphere can warm up the environment and cause rising seas and cause more extreme weather, so that when there's hurricanes, those waves will come and wipe out low-lying areas. Now my music's coming back up. Watching. And fades out. So add some audio tracks into this, and if there's anything else from the first video you can think of, like, hey, why didn't we add that? Go ahead. I just think that a lot of these things replace that, having a moving title instead of a static title. You don't have to use a Ken Burns effect on any of these moving videos, or I suppose you could do it on the titles up here if you wanted to. But anyway, play around, make it a little more awesome, and then you're basically done. Remember, it shouldn't be more than about 40 seconds, and it should definitely have some sort of a title up here other than video 2 or something like that. It should have your name, and you could say, you know, again, lesson 2, probably not a bad title for it. All right, have fun, good luck, and this will be the end of your second Weave video project.